Some thoughts really feel heavier than others, and this is one of those. What if my best years are already behind me? That can be a sneaky one and really show up quietly, maybe after a long day, maybe after you see someone else hit a goal that you once had. Maybe you're hitting social media and you're like, oh my gosh, how did they turn things around? Maybe you just feel behind, stuck, or really unsure on how to move forward. That voice in there, it can really get loud if you let it. And if you're already feeling tired, overwhelmed, overworked, that can easily be kind of the snowball effect to get you to starting to believe that. But what if that thought isn't even true? We're going to talk about that today on today's podcast. But if you've been thinking about what's next with your health, your energy, your goals, and you're really not sure where to start or not sure where to go from where you are in your current chapter of life, I encourage you, when you're ready, head over to talktoperry.com because you'll get clarity and a real plan to help you move forward in a way that fits your life. We do that in 15 minutes. Hey, let's get your energy and your direction back on track. Talktoperry.com. If you're watching on video, I'll pop that in the lower third there. So let's pause for a second here and look at what's really going on when those sort of thoughts come up, where you're thinking the best years are behind you. Well, that a lot of times comes from comparing where you used to be or comparing it to where you are now. Not all the time, but for many people it does. And here's the deal. You're not the same person. You lived more years. You've learned a lot more experiences, You've gone through a lot more, overcome a lot of different things, achieved a lot of things. And you know what? Here's the thing. You have more awarenesses now. And I'm going to let you know that's growth. So the question here is, can I go back? Can I go back to the old days or whatever it is, or the way things used to be, or get back to my old self? You know what? The question really that we need to be asking is, what do I want to do next? Where do I want to go? Because your next chapter, it doesn't need to look like your last one. You've got all this wisdom with you, and your energy, going into that, it might be different. You may have different priorities now. That's okay. You factored those things in. You might have less time. You might have more responsibilities. But that doesn't mean you're done. A friend of mine, Angie, shout out to Angie, she told me a goal is not to get. And I think that's where a lot of us, we're always wanting to get things, right? I've got to get this, I've got to achieve this certain thing, whether it's weight loss or just getting more energy or to do a different career, whatever it is. But a goal is not to get, a goal is to grow. So that means your wins are going to look really, really different now. You can feel strong again. You can feel sharp again. You can feel clear, because if you really pay attention to the growth journey as you're going, and I know this might sound a little bit hokey, but it's really not, because you will use those experiences in a much different way than just giving up. You're giving up your power to external circumstances and just going, well, I can't do this because I'm overworked, I'm overwhelmed, I've got these things going on. Can't you see there's this going on, I'm too busy. Oh, so many people say I'm busy, busy, busy. When you start to flip that and you're like, hey, I'm going to just keep adding up the wins and learn along the way. And I get it, when it comes to health and fitness stuff, we want results real quick. But if we don't pay attention and learn along the way, we can get certain results and then go back to old ways because we haven't shifted. We haven't learned anything. We haven't changed our belief in what we're thinking. I've known many people to lose the weight, but they didn't see themselves as losing the weight, as a person deserving of losing the weight, as a person who, this is my ideal self now and here I am going forward. They would always go back and revert to old ways, old thinking, old stories. So when you can change things and just say, hey, I'm going to keep moving forward no matter what. I'm changing my journey. I'm paying attention. I'm becoming aware of my thinking and my attitudes and my habits. You can feel strong again. You can feel sharp again. You can feel excited about your life again. How does that sound? Right? You don't have to stop letting the past shape how you see yourself now. You've just gotten into the habit of doing so and believing the old stories are true and then defending those limitations. So start by asking yourself these. What part of your life actually needs attention? So think about those things. Is it your movement? Is it how you sleep? Is it your stress level? Now, I'm not going to give you a grocery list of different things, but just consider those things for yourself. Have you been doing the same things for years and you're just not inspired anymore? You've got to look at things, and this is where I was before. I'll share that in a second, but you got to say, there's nothing wrong with me. It's not too late. I'm not behind. You just need to decide and choose and take action. And you can do that in an instant, but a lot of people are misguided on what they think a decision is. They'll make it, they'll decide on something. I'm interested in doing this, and then they'll consider it and chew on it for a while and think, no, that's not deciding. That's just kind of procrastination and dreaming and what ifing. Decision means you take action now in an instant. So letting that thought hang around with all these questions, it can really keep you stuck for years. That's why many people stop trying. That's why many people drift off course. That's why many people have become master quitters. And they don't see themselves as master quitters, but they also don't see themselves having a path forward that actually fits their current life. So they give up, they check out, they say, well, it's too late for me, but it's not. You're allowed to change at any time, to move how you want to move, to eat how you want to eat, to fuel your body. And it can be totally different than what it did back in the old days. But you've got to let go of what's no longer working. You've got to let go and really recognize the thoughts and the ideas that you're having and the beliefs that you're having, and saying, is that true? So that was the big thing for me. Was I got to a point in my life, now this is several years ago, but I got to a point in my life where I knew the age of 40 was coming up. For whatever reason, the age of 40 meant, okay, you're middle-aged, now you're going downhill. It's too late in life for you to get in shape, to lose the weight, to get healthy, because I saw proof and evidence of coworkers, of friends, of family that showed me the actual path to unhealthy habits. This is the way life is going to be. I had a friend of mine that said, wait till you turn 30, Perry. You'll see, you'll get the beer gut. You'll be out of shape, just like the rest of us. And that's what happened. So I lived up to that story. Why wouldn't moving into my 40s be, it's too late to do anything here? So I'm on the web looking for kind of like some drastic procedures to have happen to undo the unhealthy habits. But if I would have done that, and I found that it was way out of my budget and way out of what I wanted to do, but if I would have done that, I wouldn't have learned the healthy habits that I needed along the way. You've heard people having those procedures or done some things where they've gone through a medical thing. Now, there have been successes, but people going back to old ways just because of not shifting the self-image. So that's what I realized. I'm like, you know what? Where did I learn that from? Is that really even true? And then I set on a course to say, is it too late in life? No, it's not. I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to start moving forward and change that forward direction. Now, my first couple workouts, doing a few push-ups, and I can only do 2 when I thought I could do 10, 20. It was humbling. I was out of shape, overweight, overwhelmed. But I had to believe that should I continue on a consistent path of showing up for myself over the next 30 days, 60 days, maybe even 6 years from now, there's going to be improvement. It was just I needed to commit to that story as opposed to gluing on to the story of the past. that journey, just that mindset, that shift, that decision, and that commitment was 20 some odd years ago. And I'm continuing to go. And hey, I get this. Some of this may seem abstract to you, but if you want to take the guesswork out of what to do next and really build something that's catered to your life, head over to talktoperry.com. Let's get clear together and leave with a plan that really finally fits you. And I can hear your stories. I can hear the things that you're working through. Chances are, if I haven't gone through an experience, I probably know somebody that has, that's moved through it, that can help you out. That's over at talktoperry.com. So here's what I want you to take away from this podcast today. And you might even type it in the comments. This is what I took away from the podcast today, Perry. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago. And that's a good thing. I get it. You're probably looking at your current circumstances and going, no, you're wrong, Perry. But you have more insight now. You have more experiences now. You've seen more. You've felt more. You've learned more, That's proof that you're still in it. You don't have to choose, and you get the power to choose right now, but you don't have to choose the old version of of yourself. You get to decide on how you want to feel moving forward. That's what you do right now. What's that next level version of you? Now, it might seem abstract to you as well, but when you can create that, what's that future version of me? And then you start identifying, what does that person think? What does that person do in their daily activities, et cetera? And you can identify those things and start doing those things right now. Even if you don't have the results yet, you're going to get the results. The best of you, you don't live in the past. It's something that you create now. And it really starts with one choice. Let that be a reminder for you. So just know you can choose to use your power, take control, or you can let the external circumstances and all the other things that you're pointing at and blaming of why you can't succeed, you can let that control you and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding and committing. Oh, that was a theme today. To yourself and your goals, and choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning and growing, and keep moving forward. Keep growing. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. I have a hunch I know what it is, but drop it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your insights. I promise I will reply. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.